tengo, doña.
Gerardo and Teresa's food cart in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania bustles at lunchtime.
Y eso nos llena de orgullo.
We are very proud that immigrants are productive, that we are not a problem to the country. We are a solution.
Somos soluciones.
Muchas gracias. Adiós.
They're both undocumented, but feel confident enough to call the police if they encounter any trouble. That's because Philadelphia is one of over 300 so-called sanctuary cities in the U.S., jurisdictions where local police have stopped enforcing federal immigration law without an explicit court order.
Well, that's not the way it works.
For the frontrunner in November's mayoral election, the reasoning isn't difficult.
If you have someone who is a criminal, or you suspect to be a criminal, or is on the run, or they're wanted, go to a federal judge. There's enough of them in this town. Get a warrant, and we'll be happy to hold them for you. But we're not holding people at your whim. First of all, it's unconstitutional. Second of all, it's expensive, and it's just inhuman.
Kenny argues that it's impossible to run a city if migrants don't feel safe enough to make a living or are too frightened to report a crime.
If you are a human being and you decide that you want to be in Philadelphia and choose us as a place to live, we have a responsibility to protect you.
Federal courts have agreed that it's unconstitutional for migrants to be detained without a warrant while federal immigration authorities decide if they want to pursue deportation proceedings. But for Kenny's opponent, that makes little sense.
But the Constitution?
What about it?
Well, habeas corpus. You're not supposed to just hold someone without any court order or any warrant.
Yes, but they're here illegally. So we need to make sure that we're protecting first and foremost the people of Philadelphia from people who are committing crimes over and over again.
In fact, first-generation immigrants are less likely to commit crimes than anyone else in the population. And it's local police forces themselves who argue being used for federal immigration law enforcement undermines effective community policing. For example, before Philadelphia became a sanctuary city, Gerardo and Teresa felt they had to allow criminals to walk the streets.
We used to sell in a shopping cart and suffered discrimination and vandalism.
Supporters of sanctuary cities argue Philadelphia is not just safer, but more prosperous.
The last census numbers showed that Philadelphia grew for the first time in 60 years. That's because of the immigrant communities. So if we want to continue to grow and thrive, we need to send a very clear message to immigrant communities that they are welcome, that this is a safe place.
It's a division between those who say they want to ensure the safety and prosperity of their communities and those who believe the U.S.'s 11 million undocumented migrants should have no place in U.S. society. Shia Bertansi, Al Jazeera, Philadelphia.